Okay. All right, Spike. Um, Hello, my friend. I am Charlie Simons, your host here on Do Not Talk. Talk about things you're never supposed to talk about, talking to the people I'm not supposed to talk to, especially when my own people tell me not to talk to those people. That's when I want to talk to those people. Like a petulant teenager, huh? Don't touch that. I am grateful that you're here. I'm grateful that you watch the shows and that you're liking what I do and my style of doing it. It's not like most dudes. I know that. Not like most podcasters. There's the real straight. Here's the news. Here's what I think about it, kind of guys. And then there's the ones sitting back, full mansplayed out and like you're doing some kind of fishing show, only trying to talk politics. And I think I'm probably somewhere in between those two. So I'll bring you guests. I had somebody at an event last night bringing all this conspiracy theory stuff to me. Oh my goodness! I was live at an event, broadcasting live from the California Governor's Showdown. It was the Take Our California Back, is what it is. TakeOurCaliforniaBack.com, and it's all the conservative candidates that the media is ignoring. God bless Kim Yater for putting together these little symposiums, these little events where they ask them questions, they ask the candidates questions, they introduce everybody to these candidates. The media used to do that. The media will never put on somebody like Lewis Herms or Daniel Mercury or any of the other David Kohlenberg until he made that breaking news announcement this morning that he's switching to running for lieutenant governor. But you'll never see them on regular media ever. So that's her job, and that's my job. I've been doing that from the beginning. So I'm so glad I paired up with Kim. She's invited me to be able to broadcast live from these events. It's an honor and a privilege, but it's something I think is long overdue. That these symposiums are happening, showing you the candidates that the media will never tell you about. And unfortunately, my own Republican Party will never tell you about. They don't want grassroots. They hate grassroots. They like having total control over everything in the state of California, at least. Well, how's that worked out for you, Republicans? Of which, admittedly, I am one. You get somebody who's a real straight talker and tells it like it is, like President Trump, they're not interested in that here in the state of California. They don't get behind those people. Um, I'm just saying, that's been my experience. So, anyway, I'm at this event last night, and this woman is bringing this whole conspiracy theory thing to me. And I got this, and this is violence, breaking news, and my safety. I can't go on the air, but I want you to see this all. And I'm like, well, then why would you show it to me if you won't go on the air? Well, so you can tell everybody about it. It's not what I do. I just do interviews. I have fun meeting people. Like my guest today, Holly Baglio. She's been on the show before. She had some horrific stories about MK Ultra and child molestation and things that happened in her life. She's written a book, Kids in a Cage. And she's on the show again today to tell us all about it here on Do Not Talk. Hold on a second. I got to put Spike here, boy. Stay right there for a second because I got to do a little something. It's tradition now. I got to do it. Are you ready? Hit it. That was disastrous. I'll fix it all in post, as they say. Hello, Holly.
Hi, Charlie. How are you?
I'm borderline amazing, as far as you know. Slept about 45 minutes last night. Whoo, rare to go. Me
Yeah,
and Donald Trump. No, he gets about 5 hours of sleep a night. I don't know how anybody does that, especially at running at his peak efficiency like he does. Imagine if he got a full 8 hours sleep every night instead of five. 5 is the average, oftentimes less. And look what he's doing. Look what he's accomplishing. He's wired differently than I am, sister. I don't think I could function that way. That's crazy.
Me
What
neither.
about you?
I'm doing
Yeah,
good,
I
thank
don't get
you.
it.
Yeah,
Uh,
sorry.
Good. I'm glad you are. So, congratulations on the book. That's exciting. I admire anybody who can write something. Shoot, I'd be impressed if he wrote a pamphlet. I just think that's awesome. It must have been hard for you. Is a lot of it your story?
Yeah, actually, it was
Yeah.
extremely
So you had to
difficult for
relive
me.
all that.
Well, when I
Mm-mm.
originally wrote it, it was more for therapy and to get it out, and to get my testimony kind of in one spot and where I could see it. So it was more of a relief. And now it's turned into my way to go back for the other kids still in a cage because I didn't
Yeah.
forget about them. So there are times, yes, where once in a blue moon, I'll feel like I'm back in the cage, but it's a brief flashback. And because Heavenly Abba's my refuge, it passes quickly. So for me, it's more of a relief. But yes, writing that book was so difficult because I only ever wrote poems because they were easy and you could use bad grammar and get away with it.
Did you have the spell correct? Constantly offering you suggestions all the time. Yep. And especially if you're doing voice to text thing, I have to go back and proofread and reread and rewrite. I'm like, why am I even doing this? Why don't I just type it out? That has, have you ever done that before? Writing a book?
No, this is my first one. And it was very difficult because I did not know how to go about it whatsoever. The most I ever wrote was a 21 length paper for college regarding accounting, my major. So I really have no experience and it felt like bondage and it felt horrible. Now that
Right.
it's done, I feel accomplishment and I feel so much better about it because I had so much healing happen through it between the writing and drawing pictures, but it was really tough.
Give us a little taste, if you can, of what's in the book and why we would want to buy it.
Okay. Well, right now, the whole entire book and my drawings are up on my website, hollybaglio.com, for free to read right now. So I kept to my word. I'm letting everybody read it for free. It's been up since March 1st. But the second Kids in a Cage goes under contract, I will have to take the book down from the internet. And on March 1st, the two publishers I'm hoping to have will make it available to the public for purchase to own and have. But right now they can read it for free and everything's
Are
up on
there
my.
any, is there any way on your website that people can contribute something to you if they want to help with the costs
Yeah,
incurred and so on, and all your
yeah.
time? Yeah, yeah, they can read it for free, but can they still give somehow through your website?
Yeah, that information's on the front page, but also like this interview is going to be up on my website too. So if you don't mind. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff up on my website. So please fish around and, get to know me and, get to know one of the people that survived some of these atrocities and Epstein with the genetic experimentation and our government and military and their involvement with the same things. Plus, our government's very interested in psychic abilities and supernatural things. So, um,
You know
my
who else
book,
was? Joseph
who,
Mengele and the rest of the freaks and clowns and torture kings during the Third Reich. They were
yep.
interested in all that kind of crap too. So is this CIA you're talking about?
Yes, actually, Joseph Mangli created me, and those are the very MK Ultra and Super Soldier projects I'm trying to expose. Is I'm a created human being. So Joseph Mangli used gene splicing. So we've heard of test tube babies. I was implanted in my mother's womb. The genes that Mangli used were my biological mother and father's DNA, the Rothschild who wanted me created, and Anunnaki DNA or alien DNA, however you word it. I was implanted in my mother's womb, and from there, the MK Ultra programming started because I was traumatized in her womb. And then when it was time for her to give birth to me, I was born breech. I was bent in half, and my butt came out first. So all of my life, for the first 40 years, 37 years of my life, 40 years of my life, I have two sets of memories. One on the surface of the earth where we are here and now, and the second set of memories being trafficked, going through these MK Ultra and Super Soldier projects, but they had to do with the human and genetic experimentation. So Mangley created me. Um, and also, he put me through surgical enhancements, which he was guided by fallen entities during that surgery. And what I witnessed was them doing something to my bones to strengthen them. And I think they put robotics and chips in me. It looked like they were doing something to my organs.
Well,
But
I don't know if there was anything such as chips back then yet. What do you mean chips?
like chips, implants, I that they have this technology. So, and that's what
Really?
I'm trying to expose is all the human and genetic experimentation. But like
But
we hear
Mengele
about
was
these.
doing now. If you don't mind me asking, what year were you born? I'm wondering, was Joseph Mengele even still alive when you were born?
Oh yes, I was born in 1974, but Mangley was successful at life extension, so he's still alive. Everything that he set out to do, he was
Uh,
successful at. I do not believe that he died in a drowning accident off the coast of Brazil. Nazi mastermind scientists don't drown. So, but my understanding is that he is still alive because in 2008 he decommissioned me. When these super soldier projects that I was a part of were shut down and they stopped creating these human super soldiers, he released me. I was decommissioned. So I know it sounds fantastical, but please look into
yeah,
these things.
a little bit.
Yeah,
How do you know all this? How did this? How did you find this out? Somebody tell you, or a
no.
whistleblower, or you figured it out yourself? What? How?
Yes. Well, the first thing was in 2013, I did not see my life going anywhere. So I humbled myself and surrendered myself to Heavenly Abba. And I formed a relationship with him through my Savior. And he helped me to come off of prescription medications because I'm fully disabled. And I was seeing up to 8 doctors every single month, and they had me on 33 different prescriptions. So, first, Heavenly Abba, through the blood of the Lamb and what he did at his crucifixion, set me free from all of these prescriptions. And once that happened, the memories came flooding back in. My dreams and nightmares started coming back. And so one day came that Heavenly Abba tapped my shoulder and said, Holly, there's something else that you have to get right with me. And that's when the kids in the cages being electrocuted and all of those memories came flooding back to me. It felt like it had been so long since I thought about them, and how could I have forgotten? But I basically had a flash flood of memories come back. I think all the prescriptions kept me dumbed down, disconnected from having a connection to my creator and my savior. And once I used his strength and relied on him and I came off those medicines, that's when the everything came flooding back. It like a dam, like the Hoover Dam broke open, and my world fell to pieces. But that's when I realized I had altars. I thought I was having mood swings, and people like my family and friends, even I was going to a Baptist church. I was seeking Yahusha, our Savior. That's his name in Hebrew. I'm sorry.
No,
I
that's
was
all right.
seeking him.
Yeshua, I call him that too.
Cool. I was seeking him when I was 18, but I was still being used during that time. And I'm guilty of falling back in the world just on my own. I'm guilty of doing that. But it wasn't until I was 14, or sorry, 40 years old, that when I went back to him, he helped me get right. And I really needed that foundation in him to deal with this, because there came a point in time, because I was programmed and trained, I was mind controlled. Joseph Mangley and the programmers, back at that time, they typically looked for people that had specific genetics, certain features, or they would grab a child at the age of 6 and under and put them through extreme trauma and torture to split and break their mind. So when that trauma was so bad, they would check out or leave their body, faint, blackout, they would leave, and what was left over is a shell of a person that the programmers like Mangley would program like a computer, use certain trigger words, codes, colors, and program that, um, put that altar down, and then call forward your consciousness. And Mangley would do this because all the information, all the trauma would be compartmentalized because I was broken. I'm probably not very good at explaining this, but the trauma, I guess it does damage to your brain, and your brain shatters and honeycombs and all, like, so when I went through different pieces of trauma, I wouldn't remember it because they programmed me not to remember it. But also Joseph Mangley was a sorcerer. So it was not only the science and the genetics he got into, but he was also worshiping and summoning
Oh
these
yeah,
fallen
they were
entities
big into
down.
the occult, that's for sure. Big into
Absolutely.
the occult, which is satanic. It's Satan worshiping, basically. I don't care
Yeah.
what name you give that god. It is all about
Yeah.
Satan, isn't it? That's whose
Yeah.
work they're doing.
Yeah. Baal, one of them, any of them, but yeah, the all the devils. So but I forgot where I was going. I got so much to say about it.
Sorry, I
But
interrupted you.
no, you didn't interrupt. I draw blanks. I apologize. But as far as the programming, so I was saying how they had to get me under the age of 6, but nowadays they have perfected these trauma and torture based mind control techniques. And my understanding, and in layman terms, they no longer have to get you with certain genetics or under the age of 6. They can simply inject you with chemicals and a vaccine, and those chemicals damage your brain as if you had been trafficked and put through the cages and being electrocuted and being exposed to these traumas and tortures. It damages your brain as if you had gone through that, but you haven't gone through that. All you've done is simply gotten a vaccine. And through things such as entertainment, but also the Gwen towers, people call them cell phone towers. They send out frequencies, and these frequencies are used to mind control the masses.
I've heard
When,
that from so many people that that's what the 5G is all about. And there's
yeah,
some countries who are not even allowing it in their country. They say it's because it also greatly increases cancer.
yeah,
People are more than ever. It's become so prevalent. And the social media, together with Big Pharma, has done everything to shut down anybody talking about that or talking against it. I know I've already had 2 strikes on YouTube. One more, and they're going to delete the entire channel. And we are live on that right now. So uh, I don't. I'm not going to add anything to it. This is you. This is you telling this story. So anything I say at this point will get us kicked off.
okay, I'll try. I'll try to curb myself too. But
Go,
McDonald's apparently,
go for it. No, you go for it.
but apparently McDonald's has a patent on the technology they can use on us, that while we sleep, they can transmit commercials into our dreams. So if we ever wake up craving something in particular, it may be because they have this kind of technology where through these frequencies, they can actually insert commercials that you'll see while you're sleeping at night. So,
Really? How do you know that? I mean,
um,
ba-da-ba-ba-ba is one of the most brilliant ad campaigns I
oh, yeah,
think I've ever heard. That is right up there with Got Milk. It's just
yeah,
brilliant because it's so simple. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving
correct.
it. All their commercial, and this has been like 10 years now they've been using that, and they still are. That dude, I forget his name, who's doing the commercials now. I always hear him going ba-da-ba-ba-ba, and I just know instantly. But how do you know that they're putting commercials into our brains while we're sleeping?
There's an actual patent that McDonald's has, but I looked into voice to skull technology and various things like voice to skull technology is where somebody behind a fancy computer can transmit their voice into your brain and you will hear them on the inside. And they'll be able to see and hear everything you see and hear. And your thoughts, they'll be able to basically read your thoughts through this technology that they possess. We like what I don't like one of my interests is looking into this because what Trump used in Venezuela to go in and knock those people out.
Yeah, render them
That's
ineffective for. It was
that,
a 30-minute operation getting Maduro and his wife out of there. It was quite brilliant, and the way to go, Army. Good job.
yeah,
That was very, very well done. And as far as I know, the first time that that's been utilized, at least to where the public found out about it or that they talked about it. Yeah, we did something. We did something to these people to where they were rendered ineffective. They couldn't even fight back. Um, but that's like sound wave, brain wave, something. I don't know.
so
Barack
much.
Obama, Barry Soetoro, worst president this nation's ever had, and
Yeah,
still had during Biden, by the way. Um, he actually produced a film about that, where it was some kind of sound that was making everybody sick, and they would just freeze, and they couldn't do anything. They couldn't fight back. I don't remember the name of the film. I did see it, and I thought, this is projecting. This is telling us this is what they're going to
yeah.
do to us because that's part of their worship of the devil. They have to assuage their own guilt by being able to say, "Well, we told you we were going to do this. We
Yeah.
told you,"
And
even
you
though
cannot stand up to stop. Sorry.
no, no. What's
Right.
that called? What's that called again? Do you
Uh,
remember? There's a term for it, and I'm not thinking of it.
yeah. I forget. It's a doctrine.
Everybody
Um,
watching right now is screaming it at the screen. I know they're just
right.
trying to tell me
It's
what
on
it
the
is.
tip of my tongue.
Everybody
Yeah, they
knows
have to
but
tell you.
me, but I know that it's got to be something that's real because they projected it in that film, and other films too also have. But this whole Manchurian Candidate thing, where they're implanting, kill that person and kill this person and make this happen, seems to be very real and
It
freaky as
is.
heck.
It
If
is.
I remember our very first show, you talked about some examples of how they utilized you to do things.
Yes, I was programmed to as a Manchurian candidate and also sent out on assassination assignments. One was against a member of the Rothschild family, but for program shooters that we hear about that march into churches and schools, it would take, I guess, the CIA. It would take the programmers they, to grab a person up off the street. It would take them 7 days to program that person to be a shooter. 14 days if they were a hard case, but the programmers would be able to like break somebody down to
If they were
program them.
RKs, what's an RK?
Um, oh,
Did you say RK? If they were RKs, I don't know what that is.
MK. Oh, I'm sorry,
Oh,
MK
MK.
Ultras. MKs.
Oh, MK
I'm
Ultra.
sorry.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So it even to program the Montauk boys, what they would do is grab a homeless boy off the street, program him for about a month and a half, and then reinsert him back to where he was. And then all it takes is certain trigger words to pull forward these alters they've been programmed with. And the alters already have their orders, they already have their instructions. So it's just a matter of the programmer triggering the MK Ultra slave, the mind control slave, and then the mind control slave just takes over like a toy soldier. But
All
yeah,
this
so
proliferation of school kids killing kids,
yep,
and now it seems to be really big in the transsexual community. All these shooters this past year seem to fit that mold that they were trans. They're cross dressers. They were,
yeah.
claiming to be a female, and they weren't. Um,
Well,
it seems
they
to be
could.
very prevalent. Why is that?
I think they might be targeted because they're trans, and I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but honestly, someone that's trans, when I look at them, I don't scold them. What I see is a person that was hurt when they were a young child.
Hmm.
Someone did something to them. They're traumatized, they're hurting, and that's why they're trans or gay or lesbian. It's because they were hurt when they were a young child, and they were probably, but when a parent or
I've always,
sibling,
I've always felt that. I agree with that.
that's the ultimate betrayal, is to be hurt by us an immediate family member. So for the trans community to be profiled, they're already traumatized, so to grab someone that's already traumatized and add and program them or trigger them would not be very difficult because they've already been broken.
Right. Yeah, it would make it a little easier, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Um, that's some scary stuff. So, in your book, Kids in Cages, this is Holly Baglio, by the way, Baglio, and you want to go to her website, you want to actually read the book. She's offering it for free right now, which is very cool. Give her,
thank you.
make a donation, give her a little something to help out, please, while you're there. But it's hollybaglio.com, HOLLYBAGLIO.com. Um, do you talk about other kids that you're familiar with, or is this just your story?
It's just my story and what I went through. But in the autobiography, I talk about being in the cages and being with the other children. And then eventually, when I woke up, I believe I reunited with some of those other children who are also now whistleblowers. Some
Have you
say
met
they
any of
remember.
them?
Yeah,
Do you know
yeah.
any of them? You do.
Yes, yes. So a couple people remember me and a couple people do not. But then again, we had alters and I'm fully reintegrated. And I know a lot of the other victims and survivors, they're not fully reintegrated. So their alters or alter may not remember me at that time. It depends
Their
too.
their
Plus,
their alter personality you're talking about?
yeah, yeah. Plus, if someone can, the only way I know to be set free from MK Ultra is through our Savior Yahusha. He's the one that sets us free. He's the only way. He's the truth. He's the way. He's the life. He's our living light. He's our everything. So through him, um, deprogrammed, but he fully reintegrated me. So if trigger words are said, I'm not going to go back active because he stands between me and that. But also, I've woken up to the fact that I've been used. So when these trigger words happen and memories come back, I just immediately go to Yahusha and talk to him about it. And right there, he gains control because I humble myself to him and I just go to him and he walks me through everything. And honestly, he just kind of handles it. So,
That's cool. That's cool. Well, you got the ultimate protector, that's for sure. Um, where are you now? How are you doing after all of this? And after having written that book, which I hope was cathartic, I hope it had some healing. because you put it down on paper like that. I understand it really is a very significant way to get past it, to move on. How are you doing now?
Thank you for asking. I'm okay. I have been cured of, I no longer have alters. I've been cured of DID and SRA, satanic ritual abuse. So now pretty much all I have to do is rely on Abba to get myself to the gym to build back my physical strength because I'm a little bit skinny. But and exercise will keep my mind sharp, and I really need that. So, but I'm doing good. Looking at the world and what's happening in the world is really difficult. I'm encouraged by the victims and survivors that stand up and say something. Um, and I just hope more people, get involved to protect our children and what's happening.
I
So,
hope so too.
yeah.
All right, my friend. Anything else that you'd like us to know that we may not have covered?
Don't give up hope, and please know Heavenly Abba wants to do more for you than he's ever done for me. You just need to go to him for yourself and let him be your rabbi and let him barak you. And barak means bless in Hebrew. Let him barak you with miracles and with spiritual gifts and spend time with him. Make him your best friend. But the only way to get to know him is to spend time with him. So,
And one of
anyway,
the best ways you can do that is to actually read his word.
yeah,
If you haven't read the Bible, please start with the book of John, or start right off with Matthew if you want. John is the fourth of the four gospels, and it encapsulates everything with Jesus's life here on earth. And then just keep going. Read Acts and Hebrews and Romans, and you will quickly, just a chapter a day keeps false teachers away. Nobody can fool you if you read his word for yourself. Go all the way through it. A chapter a day takes maybe 5 minutes to read. Read it out loud if there's anyone else in your family or in your house that might be benefited from hearing God's word, and read through Revelation. Revelation is incredibly important because I believe we are in that time.
I think so
We
too.
are definitely at the beginning of all this. When you see things in the news and you hear things that are going on, you have a different insight, Holly. You must recognize right away, oh, I know what that is. I know who they are. I know what's going on there, don't you?
Yeah, yeah,
I'll bet. I'll bet. You're
yeah,
seeing things from a different side and a different way that most of us don't know. We can't relate to it. So one way to connect and be more aware of what's going on, what's really going on, is to read Holly's book. It's called Kids in Cages, and you can find it at her website, hollybaglio.com.
yes.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Charlie. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your time.
Absolutely. I appreciate you. And you can follow me at charliesimons.com. You can buy some merchandise there, and I hope you would. Let's talk about politics and religion. This is my favorite mug. I love this big old 15-ounce mug. Look at that baby. And I got hats, shirts, and ways that you can give there too if you want. Contact me, book a guest slot on the show like Holly did. You can do all that through my website, CharlieSimons, charliesimons.com. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. But most importantly, America bless God.